Mes amis Tim Blazy TV moi aujourd'hui à nous porter pour nous un dossier qui a fait un pile bruit sur les réseaux sociaux spécialement dans la communauté haïtienne. Il y a un pile monde qui a posé question, est-ce que il y a un gros changement qui venir dans le système voyage États-Unis? Est-ce que c'est une simple crise économique ou soit il y a un bagage qui pi font passer ça? Et Tim Blazy TV moi d'après plusieurs prophéties, Profetèz célestial a déjà annoncé une série d'événements côté il te dit qu'il pral gen blocage dans pays États-Unis, voyage avin plus difficile, avion capable suspendre fonctionner et puis moun pral sentir dans cœur pour yo arriver quitter pays. Déclaration ça Tim Blazy TV moi li te vinn prendre plus force dans 𝐁𝐋𝐀𝐙𝐘 après une série de situations qui commence à paraître dans secteur aviation. En plus de ça Tim Blazy TV moi nous gen exemple artiste haïtienne ça qui c'est princesse Ed qui était déjà quitté pays Etazini côté l'arrivée retourner pour vivre en Haïti volontairement et nous un message il arrivé posté sur réseaux sociaux bien quoi essayer l'arrivée poster message là il déclare que avion commencé camper toute bagaille bon Dieu fait me te gen temps sauver vinn dans pays mi a dégager message ça Tim Blazy TV moi il vient augmenter question ak interprétation dans mitan public là surtout pour moun qui croit dans signe spirituel ak avertissement mais quand y a Tim Blazy TV moi on regarde réalité économique là depuis 2 mai 2026 compagnie Spirit Airlines suspend toute opération lyonnaise. Ça veut dire tout vol, anile, pas de service client encore. Compagnie a fermé porte li. Raison principale, c'est parce que plus passé 2,5 milliards de dollars perte depuis l'année 2020 époque corona. Gen la donne augmentation prix gaz avion à cause de guerre Iran avec Etazini. Échec pour joindre un secours financier 500 millions de dollars. Manque investissement pour soutenir l'opération. Les événements environ 17 000 moun qui perdit travail dans compagnie Spirit Airlines là. Et pour moun qui te gen ticket yo, remboursement fait automatiquement pour un pile client et l'autre compagnie tant que Delta, American Airlines, United a offert ticket secours et dans cas pas compagnie tant que Delta Airlines yo continue à opérer mais Tim Blazy TV moi yo a anile quelques vols et ça fait un pile monde a demandé qui ça ka passer dans pays a qui ça pral gagner mais Tim Blazy TV moi yo gen deux façons pour nous regarder situation ça première façon c'est aspect spirituel là gen moun qui ouais ça comme un accomplissement prophétique un avertissement pour changer la vie et deuxième non c'est aspect économique là spécialiste yo expliquer ça comme résultat crise financière augmentation dépenses ak mauvaise gestion compagnie et Tim Blazy TV moi vérité capable chita dans intersection des bagages ça yon monde qui a changé plus monde qui a essayé comprendre signe mes amis Tim Blazy TV moi question était ouverte est-ce que ça c'est une simple crise économique dans aviation ou soit est-ce que yon bagage qui plus profond cap dérouler sans que personne ba connaît mais Tim Blazy TV moi bon bagage qui certain monde la bouger système yo a changé chaque monde décide de prendre décision par yo en tous les cas Tim Blazy TV moi entendez Profetèz célestial qui était déjà prédit ça yo. Entendez, nous même n'avons pas opinion, pas nous n'a dit ça, nous pensons dans les commentaires.
We who stay here are going to be locked in with a government, please listen to me, that is going to be committing massacres, as in extermination, killings, as in pointing to people and say, we have heard reports that you put up a Facebook post and your Facebook post was that you made a funny drawing of the president and the penalty for that is death. No one is coming in to argue for you at that time. No lawyer is going to stand up at that time to say, oh no, this is part of free speech. This is a constitutionally protected right under the 4th Amendment. The freedom of speech shall not be impinged upon. No lawyer will do that because they're going to actually even round them up, intimidate them if they continue trying to practice law, if they continue trying to challenge the government. They're going to make an example of the lawyers. Any judge who doesn't fall in line, any judge that doesn't sell out to the establishment, as it will be, is going to be taken care of. And they're also going to eradicate a lot of this lower court business, this civil court business, even lower criminal courts. There's going to be an overarching higher court, and usually the sentence that will be handed out for many things will be death. It's going to be very much like in the movies in the Middle Ages where your very life is hanging in the balance and they bring you out in this gray gown or white gown and they judge you and condemn you from a very high sitting position, and there will be no right of appeal. You will get one trial that is usually a kangaroo trial, and then you will be put to death. So, as hard as these things may seem to believe to modern people who think because they have phones in their hand and they have Alexa at their houses that these things can't happen, we are already in the season where all the things that I said at the beginning of my ministry are happening. You do see the military out. They are beating you. They are shooting you. And I'm simply here to tell you that after shooting you in the streets, when you go out to confront them, they are actually going to come to the house and shoot you there. That is the title of this prophecy, the war over the threshold. The threshold is the front part of the house. The threshold is that bottom raised part of a door. And usually when you're a first homeowner, you step on that thing. You say, usually if you're a Christian, you're claiming that place as your territory. You're speaking the words of God from Joshua chapter 1. Every place that the sole of your foot shall stand, I will give you. The threshold is actually seen for many people as your entry into real maturity, whether it's the first time you rent a room as an 18-year-old in a house with roommates, and then the first time that you graduate to being able to hold a section of property, an apartment by yourself for the first time. It's a very momentous time. But God says that there's going to be a battle for the threshold in the United States. And up front, the citizens are security forces, whether it's soldiers, whether it's DHS, whether it's ICE, whether it's the cops, will end up coming to a lot of homeowners' homes and shooting them. So Yah says these shootings without consequence will continue and increase because the government has given the agents that they contracted impunity. The definition of impunity is the ability to act with exemption from punishments, losses, or any other negative consequences. When you're looking at international law of human rights, impunity has a larger net. Impunity is seen in international law against the backdrop of the protection of human rights. Impunity is seen as the failure or refusal to bring perpetrators of human rights violations to justice. And as such, the act itself constitutes a denial of the victim's right to justice and redress. Yah says is that we will see more gun-based activity than we've ever seen before in the United States. And not least of all, it's going to come from the desperate actions of homeowners strongly defending themselves against what they perceive to be illegal and attacking activity. Yah says that homeowners will be put under severe duress as people will come to their house at all hours of the day and night demanding entry. And when entry is denied, the agents will try to rush entry into the house, sometimes either with that battering ram thing or by force. If you mistakenly open the door thinking that you will talk to them through a crack and you think that you are still in a U.S. You're still in the U.S. timeline where they have to have a warrant and the warrant has to be signed by a judge. If you haven't seen all through 2025, everything that has been happening to the Hispanic population, for instance, with no warrants, and you think that you are still in a Fourth Amendment timeline when you are not. Homeowners will desperately try to defend themselves against what they perceive to be illegal activity, pressurizing activity, duress activity, even frightening activity. Your fear will not count because Renee Nicole Good's fear didn't count. Her attempt to flee the scene, which drivers do all the time at traffic stops, it will not count. You supposedly see highly trained agents telling untrained civilians after a murder what they should have done. She should have done this. Like I said, everybody is an armchair Columbo, but the time will come where they won't be stopping you because you're at a protest. The time will come where they'll be at the door because you have an NRA license, and then what's good for the goose will be good for the gander. They will shoot you at your house for resisting their federally protected right to take your constitutionally protected gun. Since the Constitution won't be in action, but the federal government government will be acting according to its emergency powers. That will say that the Second Amendment has been suspended and you don't have the right to hold contraband like a rifle. When they shoot you down, then that death will also be discussed with, why did he have a weapon? It's illegal to have a weapon. We're in a weapon-free America now, so why didn't he just comply? Those will be the questions that will be hovering over the deaths of many gun owners, and it's either that you will give up the gun or they will shoot you in their pursuit of an illegal piece of contraband. So God says that people will be strongly and desperately defending themselves against what they see as illegal and attacking activity that will end in actual gun battles and death losses over both sides of the threshold. People will shoot to kill, believing themselves to be in actual danger from armed and masked men. People will also defend their homes and property, knowing that it's government agents on the other side of the door, but still refusing to yield or give ground based on the way that they're approached, because they're defending their rights or because they feel they have nothing else to lose. Gunfire will be exchanged and not everyone will walk away clean. So people are going to see ICE as, we didn't know who these people were. They claim to be ICE, but we know that there's people dressing up pretending to be ICE, and also there's nobody illegal in the house. So we didn't know why they were here, and I have a right to stand my ground. A lot of states in America have a stand your ground law where you can stand and shoot to defend yourself, to defend your family, to defend your property, even to defend the boundaries of your house, even if it's not a farm or anything like that. So people will shoot saying that I was attacked by masked men and that's why I pumped all of them full of bullets. People will also shoot knowing that it's proper law enforcement at the door, but because of the way that law enforcement is approaching them, rushing them, threatening a child, threatening even an animal on the premises, people will shoot knowing that it's the government, but they will shoot because of how the government is approaching them. They will shoot because they will say, it's my right to have this gun. It's my right to protect my wife and my 3 daughters in this house. Or they will shoot because they will feel that patriot mindset. I should not be going through this as an American. I have nothing else to lose. And so bullets are going to be exchanged. And God says, not everyone will walk away clean over the threshold. So it's either the government agents will die outside of the threshold, or the homeowner, their child, their pet, maybe their dependents like their mother or father who is living with them now in older age will die on the other side of the threshold. So what God is referring to here is the house door threshold. And basically the Lord is saying that when the bullets are counting, when the bullets are counted in the aftermath, whether it's the shell casings found inside the house or the shell casings found outside the house, they will see that shots in an altercation have come from both sides of the front door where the shootout will happen or the back door where the shootout will happen. These situations will either leave federal agents dead outside, or the homeowners dead inside, or agents dead outside and homeowner dead inside, or agents okay outside and some occupant of the house, the wife, the child, a visitor, a dependent, like a grandparent living with the family, dead inside. Losses will be counted on both sides of U.S. home thresholds because government forces are coming to the houses to do what neither their historical power, their federal authority, their constitutional authority, or even law authority, meaning state level authority, has ever given them a right to do. The Lord says, instead of flying over the nation as a symbol of America's strength, the eagle will start flying into her citizens' faces. And in defense, 2026 will be a year of more guns and gun-related activity than we've ever seen before. So you are hearing the Lord say that basically guns are going to come out. Something that Americans have always traditionally said. They've always said, if you come to after me and mine, then you're going to meet Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson, because Smith and Wesson is a type of gun. More urban people, I guess, have this gun called a Glock. And there's different types of guns, such as, I think, AR-15 rifle, I don't even know if people are allowed to have that gun because it looks like a kind of gun for combat and war. But a lot of people in this country are heavily armed. A lot of people not only carry guns for safety, but they enjoy guns. They enjoy the power that a gun gives, sharpshooting. A lot of people in this country, they hunt, they live off what they can get from the land. And so gun ownership is more than just a pastime in America. And gun ownership is also more than just a protection thing in America. Gun ownership is a federally and constitutionally protected right. But since the beast system is a system of oppression and it is a system of monitoring and intense control, it should be understood by the gun owners in this country that gun ownership is not tolerated in the new system of government where we are going, and resistance is going to be put down one way or another. So this phrase, "over my dead body," is going to take a very serious manifestation in the United States in the years that are ahead. The reason that civil war is going to come in America is not only because of the ideological rift, because your mindset doesn't match her mindset, his mindset can never match their mindset. It's also because basic rights that Americans hold dear, as I explained in last night's video, right? It is time to repent. It is time to cleanse your robes for 2026. I explained that when your rights are actually sold to your soul, when you have a soul tie with the Constitution, when you have a soul tie with the laws, and then the laws are destroyed, you also will be destroyed along with it. The only remedy for that is to separate from the iteration. That means the appearance of America as it has been, because as long as you want to hold on to America of the has been, while that America is actively being destroyed by the growing, emerging America of the now, your entire psyche will shatter when you realize, for instance, that you're never going to have the American dream, that you're never going to be able to afford a home. When you realize that your childhood home that you're sitting in now, either you're going to sell it, take the money and leave, or you're going to stay in it. And one day the government will come and tell you, thank you so much for preserving this antebellum mansion. But we're currently in the middle of active conflict with the people of Florida, and we're commandeering all the homes in this area. Thank you so much for your government. Thank you for preserving this house, because we're now going to be putting our ICE commandant and 3 other families in the various rooms. And here's some money to go and live at the Holiday Inn. And then they give you $2.50. That's $2.50. And then you know that Holiday Inn doesn't rent any rooms at that price. You will be displaced of your property. I've already said that people are going to run away, and the houses they leave here thinking that they will come back to it, it's going to be taken over by the government, and they're going to give it to whoever in the government needs housing. So you can find that in the prophecy, The Nascent Rise of Coin, from the early months of 2023. So that's a prophecy that's over 2 years old. Property is not going to be respected here. And the 4th Amendment says that the right of people to be secure in their person. Nobody is supposed to attack you. Nobody's supposed to actually kidnap your physical body and carry it to a facility as you scream, I'm a U.S. citizen, and then people walking by are afraid to get involved. The most they can do is say shame and record you. And that's why we have so much footage of people who went missing, and then their families can't contact them for several months, only to find they're in El Paso, only to find they're in El Dorado, only to find that they're somewhere far away, because usually people are transported immediately out of state to break the habeas corpus rule, to break any kind of injunction that can say, bring the body back, bring the person back. We need to see that person. And so the laws that you're used to are not in operation. And Yah says that whether it's at the federal level, whether it's historically how America usually runs, whether it's at the constitutional level, the document that has always governed this country, or whether it's at the legal state level, state authorities are not going to have much power, and they're going to be commanded to fall in line. And that is why the people of Minnesota are disappointed. The people in Minneapolis now find that as they're protesting, they're being surrounded by their cops after their governor, who is a Democrat, right? Those of you who were trusting that, oh no, Democrats are going to be on the right side of history. There's only one history coming for America. And whoever doesn't fall in line with it eventually will be shot on TV. And then we will see what reaction videos will be made then. Yah says you will be unmercifully profiled by your own government. The tax dollars you pay will buy you a wave of state-sponsored terrorism that has come home to your shores at last. Basically, your money will fund ICE. You will be compelled to pay taxes, more and more taxes, especially as we get into conflicts with foreign countries. The government needs money because the government doesn't produce anything of use except your cash. Your cash will pay for ICE's new boots, ICE's new vest, ICE's new face socks. And with that money, they will get better trucks and Hummers to come to your house, put you in the back, put your family in the back, shoot the dog, shoot anybody who resists on sight. And then the rest who are terrorized and crying will be carried to the camp. So your tax dollars will buy you a wave of state-sponsored terrorism that has come home to your shores at last. Without the law between you and the people who rule you, what else do you have to make the difference? What else do you have to keep you free? The answer is nothing. The law is the only thing that protects the people of a nation, that their government supports them and their government will protect them using the law. But when the government now breaks the law and goes rogue, becomes lawless, there is no law. The government becomes the law. The government is no longer following law. The government becomes the law on the ground. And with them being the law and lawless, what else do you have to keep you safe and keep you free? The answer, God already knows, is nothing. The thing you prize the most, you will lose. The government will go rogue, and it is you as citizens who will pay the highest price. What you lose, you cannot retrieve. It is an erosion of your civil liberties, as you were told. What you lose will not come back because you go to the polls, because I know that's what you're trusting in. You firmly believe that you're finger pressing a dominion button, ... I choose. You believe that that is what runs the country. The unseen hand behind the scene runs the country, and the hand is bored of not being seen. It has come out. It has brought you tanks. It has brought you an armed military parade last year in June. It has brought you people on the streets literally running like wild dogs, catching people and stuffing them into vans as you watch and just say, they should just stop fighting and comply. Well, your time to comply will come, and then you will suddenly find, strangely, that it's a natural thing to fight for your life against 5 beefy men trying to put you in a truck that you don't feel you should go into. So, prophecies that you can look at. August 2nd, 2023, the Patriot Act. July 28th, 2023, you will go back. August the 3rd, 2023, the rise of the beast. So as you are the enemy at home, the domestic terrorist, the instigator, the cult members, whatever the terms will be, changing the name changes the target, takes away the target's rights, and isolates you so that everyone stands there and says, why did you drive away? Why did you resist them? Why don't you just show them the ID so that everything can calm down? Because that's how people distance themselves from responsibility. They believe that if you show the ID, then ICE won't take you. But then people have been filming other people's green card, other people's social security card on the ground as they were taken. But saying these things distances people from responsibility. It also distances them from having to accept that they are in the kind of times that we are in. And so Yah says that this is the start of disarming the U.S. population, leading to the time when they will take away the guns. The title of the prophecy you have just heard from January the 8th, 2026 is The War Over the Threshold. I am Celestial, and this is the Master's Voice Prophecy blog. Master's Voice Prophecy blog has 475 written prophecies that I've managed to handle in the earlier years when my time was better. You can find it at www.the-masters-voice.com. Prophecy is from the mouth of God. It doesn't need your agreement. It doesn't even need you to believe it. It's on a track, a wheel track that is miles high in heaven above your head, whether you believe it, whether you are still holding out for a hero, whether you are taking your time, whether you are afraid, whether you are calm. Your feelings about what Yah has said do not affect, change, negate, or nullify what Yah has said. The next prophecy that I'm going to handle is called Your Dictatorship is Here. I'm hoping to get to that today. But until then, God bless you and goodbye. And so Yah says that the battle for supremacy in America is going to come down to the granular level. It's going to be fought on the home front first and not away, as most American wars are fought. Most American wars are fought cleanly outside with bombers and drones, and there's no fallout for the pilots bombing Baghdad or bombing Syria. They don't get hurt. They simply drop their payload, hurt people, kill people, cause instability, destroy infrastructure, and then they fly home and America stays congruent. But God says now at the granular level, citizen versus authority, the war is going to come to the home front. Yah says it is your turn now to face the military. It is your turn now to face the war. And may the best combatant win. I can let you know that the best combatant is the government. I've always said they have the guns, they have the tanks, they have the manpower, and they're not going to come all the way to the whole country at once. They're going to go state by state. They're going to go street by street, and you're not going to survive a shootout with 12 agents that will come at 1 a.m. in the morning. You're in pajamas, you're in bed, and you don't have 12 guns to match 12 different points of shooting. So it's going to come down to territory. It's going to come down to home ownership, property rights, and what makes an American. Right now, some Americans are saying you're only American if you don't get in the way. So when they come for you, you will either comply or any action that you take that is contrary to the action to come out with your hands up, and we're going to search the premises for weapons. If you do not agree to that, you are not American, you are not patriotic, because you are not complying with the laws as they will be then. So whatever you support, Yah has sent me to tell you that anything you support with your mouth now, that thing is coming back to your house, to your doorstep, to your life, to your family. So it's either you mind your speech or you can say your speech, and then your speech is recorded in heaven, and it will indeed come back to you. The rights to be secure in their persons, papers, houses, and effects is about to be put to the test. The right to be free from unreasonable search and seizure has already been revoked for many people in the United States. So these are the things Yah was telling me. That right, that Fourth Amendment protection to be secure in your person, to be secure in your effects, in your property, in your papers. America is now a land of papers. You are asked to show your citizenship when it should be assumed that when you say you're a citizen and you're born here, that is enough. But skin color is no longer, being an American is no longer as cut and dried as that. Skin color now means you must answer these questions. The way you sound means you must answer these questions. You have to produce papers. And so there's already shades of the Nazi government that I have been prophesying here since 2021. Due process, law and order has been abandoned with dealing with so many people, the Lord says. So why should it apply to you? He's speaking to citizens. So many green card holders, so many people that have naturalized are going through these indignities now. And people keep saying, well, if they had done it the right way, but you were born here, but you will find that being born here is still not the right way. It's still not the right way, because the camps that the government will make, the very camps that they're saying they're making 8 of them now to house the undocumented, that is the future home for citizens, because the people that I saw being executed by the hundreds of thousands in 2021 were not undocumented people. They were American citizens, and their naked bodies were just piled up in landfills and left there, and the flies were on them, and I saw the skin turning blue as the bodies were decomposing without a head. So if you're new, there's a whole treasure trove that you have got to go through to really be able to come to terms with what I'm talking about, because I am very serious in what I'm talking about. God says that as they abandon due process, as they abandon law and order, as they are snatching people from their asylum proceedings, as they are snatching people from their green card, as they are snatching people from their citizenship celebration and oath-taking ceremonies, you are watching and just saying, it's not right, it's not right. But the camps are waiting the execution killing fields are waiting, and they're not waiting for French people, Australian people, Sierra Leonean people, Ukrainian people that are bleeding out of this country and running away. They are waiting for the people who are sitting here and saying, but that's not the law, but that's not the law. The law is changing and the people are not keeping up with it. And so when the law completely changes to say that any type of death is okay, maybe, but that's not the law, will be your final last words. But then there'll be millions of people saying that, crying that this is not supposed to happen, but it is going to happen. And the door is closing on that.
En tout cas, tête chargée bagay yo pile sous pile problème continue à monter à sens. C'était important pour me venir partager vidéo ça ensemble avec nous. On a continué mais c'est toute belle team des TV qui toujours là pour supporter travail ça, qui toujours là pour bailler love yo, qui toujours là pour partager vidéo à chaque fois moi poster. Team Blazy TV moi big up pour nous moi mais nous en pile et nous même tout qui prend la peine tomber sur plateforme ça qui c'est Blazy TV. N'a pas invité venir une belle team ça qui c'est belle team Blazy TV parce que nous parler de tout ça qui factualité. Abonnez à page, follow page pour nous toujours au courant de tout ça qui passe. Team Blazy TV moi bisous pour nous love. ¿Qué cosa?